Hello, welcome to the Retro Show. I'm Bearded Mike, and we're going to try something different today. Kind of. I wanted to make a video. I saw a couple of videos YouTube was making about owned machines and renting machines and all that. Also, I buy a lot of games at Value Village, mostly Value Village, or sometimes I go to like discount stores, but most of the games I get are Value Village games, and usually I can make them work on my modern Windows 10 machine or Windows 7 or whatever. Some games will not run, period, unless it's Windows 98, Millennium, that kind of stuff. So I got a free laptop. Actually, it's sitting. Let's go over here. It's like sitting like right here. So I had this free laptop here, and it's an Aerocom free laptop. And I installed Windows 898 on it. It had Millennium. I even took a video with my father-in-law's professional stuff. Did a whole intro video, and I discovered after I did some footage that the hard drive is failing. So I couldn't use this until I get another hard drive or some other solution. Okay, so I decided, hey, I have an old, I think it's like an IBM M50 desktop computer. So those big black desktops, you see them in offices and all that. And I said, okay, I'll use that. That failed. Like the capacitors were bulging. I just noticed it while I was taping it. So third time's a charm. I have a system. I literally, a couple of years ago, I got it from the garbage. This guy was throwing it out. My neighbors, not creepy at all. And it was a motherboard. And right now, the actual case itself is my daughter's computer. And the motherboard I kept, it's a Pentium D. And I think it's the maximum amount of RAM is 2 gigs. So I decided to crack that out, take all the spare parts I gather from in the year, put it all together, and make myself a Windows 98 machine. So hopefully I succeed. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back and we're in the BIOS setting. So this is our, you know what? I have a feeling I'm going to name this something cute because it's all made of spare parts that were sitting in my garage in the dark room. We have a dark room here when the people that used to live here, I think they developed film, and I just call it the dark room. So I'm going to call it like Raggedy PC or Raggedy Muffin or Raggedy Ann computer when I name it. Because every computer, and especially 98, you get the name, which I think I'm calling it either Old Man or Raggedy or Franken Build or something. Something like that, like something cute. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, here's the BIOS. So I wanted to show you guys. Oops, wrong keyboard. I think I did it about. So I'm going to show you the. No. So system information. So it's a Pentium D, 266 with 1 gig of RAM. Now I'm going to try it with 1 gig. Apparently, having 1 gig on a Windows 98 machine will make it unstable, but I'll give it a shot. You know, just if it comes unstable, keeps crashing. I have plenty of RAM kicking around. I have like a little baggie of RAM, so I'm pretty sure I can get something a little smaller. Leave it at a gig for now. Pentium D. I know it's overboard for playing these games, but you know what? I want to play 98, and so far so good. So exit out of that, and there's nothing too special. So it takes. Now, the actual board itself, if you didn't see the when I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but just in case, it's the motherboard is an Asus P5V-CD-MX. It takes a Pentium 4, Pentium D, or a Celeron, and it has both DDR and DDR2. I have DDR RAM in there, and it's AGP. So I had to choose between video cards. I got a few of them in my collection. I could have used I believe this is a Rage. All the Rage. Ha ha ha. And I have the TNT2 card, but what I went with is I think it's a GeForce 5200 FX. Not a very new car, but I think it's my most modern AGP car to have in this house. So anyway, we're going to continue on with the installation. Hopefully everything works. Yeah, stay tuned. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm up to the installation. Everything so far is cool. It starts up. First of all, it took forever to format the drive. It took like, I don't know, like 2 hours. Like when I started the format, first of all, it has to create the partitions. Then I have to delete the partition. It had NTFS. So I'll delete the partitions. That was like no problem. Then I had to recreate the partitions and I had to verify the partitions. Then I got to format the drive, and it's a 250 gig hard drive. So yeah, it took like 2 hours. But anyway, I'm not going to let you bore you guys with the installation. I'll probably either fast forward or maybe do a little conversation here and there. Yeah, so I'm going to install this and then I'm going to have it all up and running. Hopefully with all the drivers. Got some games on. Let's see what happens and see you soon. Okay, so I ran into another hiccup. I did not know that Windows 98 doesn't like SATA, which kind of makes sense. And I was wondering why. Why didn't I ever experience this? Why didn't I ever had this issue before? I mean, it kind of makes sense at the time back in the day where when I went to or migrated to Windows XP, I was still using IDE, and eventually, when I kept upgrading, I kept putting on XP, and then on and on and on with other operating systems. And it does make sense in a way that I would never experience this, where it won't work with SATA drives. Now, if there's a driver out there or some kind of software that will run a SATA drive on a Windows 98 or Millennium machine, sure, I don't know. I didn't want to bother, so I just slapped in IDE drive. I think it's either the 80 gig or the 120 gig. I'm not too sure. Either one would suffice. So yeah, I guess this is a learning experience of building a Windows 98 machine. And yeah, so hopefully everything else stays the same, and I'm formatting this drive. So stay tuned for hopefully some footage of it working. So, ta-da, here it is. It's Windows 98 second edition with all the good stuff. So yeah, it's, see, little Windows 98. Everything is working so far. I still haven't figured out how to get USB drivers to work on this. It actually detects it, but I can't find the drivers. I'll probably find them somewhere. If anybody has generic drivers, please leave in the comment below. Yeah, so I was experimenting with it a little bit, and I was up until like, I don't know, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock that night trying to figure out what the hell to do. Because the sound card drivers would not work. It was like it wouldn't load, so I had to actually go online, do this little search, and I finally found the drivers that I was able to get. And Asus doesn't have it. I don't know why. Usually they're really good about getting the proper drivers for these things. But anyway, I went online, found them. If anybody wants them, I'll put a link below if they want them, if you have to request it. So yeah, I also found a tutorial how to import GOG games to a format and I copy it over so we can actually run old GOG games on this system. So I'll put a link below on the tutorial on how to do that. I'm not doing too much success, but I've actually using these games that will run on my normal system anyway, but it's kind of nice to have it on my retro system. Calling it Frankie, by the way. Anyway, that was kind of fun. I said I was going to run some games, but I decided not to because the game should run fine. If they don't, then there's probably some kind of OpenGL issue or Direct3D issue. I had to install DirectX 9 on this thing to get the sound card to work, and thank God I found my copy of the movies, which already has DirectX 9 on it. 9C, I think, is the last version. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. A little bit of pulling my hair, what hair I have left. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy this video. Now, this was an experiment on to see how you guys like these kind of videos. If you want me to build more of these trash systems that I find kicking around, people give it to me for free. I found some stuff online like on Kijiji. I found a guy just giving away a motherboard and processor Pentium 4. These things are cheap. Pentium Ds and Pentium 4s, they're so cheap, and you can run Windows 98. Not all motherboards will support Windows 98. That means you just have to get yourself a video card and a sound card. So it was an interesting experiment. I'll probably post this on Wednesday to see exactly how many people like it. But if you like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give me a thumbs down. Any feedback will be appreciated. Until the next video, this is Bearded Mike, signing off.